find a shot in the snake face.
The Flakes at the time transformed into the Grandpa's Army.
What were the Flakes?
That was a little thing that me and Sam had going in the basement, which we founded the seminal song Down by the River. Still, to this day, a classic.
One name speaks for all. Doug Fever.
Yeah, so anyway, me and Doug decided to start a band. I'd been in a couple bands before, and we went to Doug's house and started playing, like, blues music about old people living in vans down by the river and about old ladies at Christmas and stuff. And Doug wrote these crazy lyrics, and he couldn't really play bass, he couldn't really sing, but he had a cool voice, so it sounded like this like really, really like old as the hills kind of man. So we kept that, and it really wasn't very good. I mean, we didn't play any shows with just two people. We ran into Johnny and Goldwyn, who we didn't really know, but we met them through running. And it turned out that they played instruments. Johnny had a guitar and Goldwyn had drums, so we took all that stuff and went over to Johnny's parents' house and just started jamming.
Doug was he was almost like gone by the time I got there. I think we played like 2 shows together. He seemed like a pretty funny guy. I know he was like, you know, in that sense, and he's always like part of the Grandpa's Army legacy and stuff like that.
Humor. That's my one word for Doug, is that no matter what Doug was doing, it'll always be funny.
We've got the rest of the lyrics.
I'm Doug Fever. Man, that guy was huge. I was so tiny. I was like, what, 80 pounds? And probably. And he was so much huger. And he'd always walk down the halls of Kelvin going, and I was always like, what is that horrible sound? Because he always walks down the hall. And his keys would be like, jingle, 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 jingle. And he'd be like, I'm Doug Fever. I play bass really badly. Jingle, 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 jingle. I'm an IB. I drink. Like, man, honestly, like, the first time I ever saw that guy, he, like, it was his basement. I think he was, like, naked drinking beer. Like, fuck. Seriously, like, who's Doug Fever? Who the fuck is Doug Fever? I don't know. Moved to Switzerland and got high every day and then, like, moved to Halifax. Man, that guy was naked drinking beer. And, like, his basement, there was, like, boxes of beer. And the kid was, like, 17. He can't buy beer. Who the hell, where did he get the beer from?
Early shows, I remember playing at Heaven, which was a classic show, the poetry reading, one of the first.
I remember basically going to the show to see Grandpa's Army and having to sit through like 2 hours of like the weirdest, probably worst poetry I've ever heard in my entire life. And then all of a sudden, and then Grandpa's Army comes on. It was just such a weird crowd because it was like everyone from high school, and we were all really young, so probably about 14, 15, and then like these 30-year-old people there to listen to poetry, and then these teenagers get up and start playing guitar. So it was a scene.
Like, Johnny was way too manic to be able to play guitar to the point where he could actually do anything that wasn't just random noodling. So I guess I just started staying on the guitar, and Johnny, somehow we found out he could sing. So he did that, and to sum it up, because this has been a lot of babbling, me, Doug, Alex, and Goldwyn sort of started the band, and I was listening to ska at the time, and I guess I sort of pushed everyone towards that direction. and forcibly or not, I'm not sure. But no one else really knew what it was.
Sam Saskimo Thompson.
Sam, I don't think the band would have existed without Sam. So, I don't think anyone else in the entire school liked ska music. So, call Sam a pioneer.
We just got along. We had a lot of the same interests. We hung out a lot outside of shows and outside of practice and whatnot.
Sam Thompson? Sam's just like, he's the kid I grew up with. You know, could do no wrong. Could do no wrong in my eyes. He's my Wolseley buddy.
Guitar player of the band, again, another one of the original members. Had a hard time remembering the chords sometimes, but had the right attitude and could play like ska rhythm as well as anyone else. It's just what you expect out of a guitar player, I guess, when you're playing in a band like Grandpa's Army.
I want to say Train for my favorite song, but I know that that's like the typical Grandpa's Army song, and so everyone at the shows, that's the one people would only know. I mean, if someone had never heard Grandpa's Army, they may have heard Train through that CD or whatever.
I remember doing a cover of Train. Yeah, I remember jamming on Train.
So it was kind of like a cliche to almost say like, yeah, Train's my favorite song, but it was awesome. Like it was just, it was one of the few that I actually had a part in writing too. I came up with a chord progression, which I actually stole from Old Man by Neil Young. This is the verse, not the chorus, but the verse of Old Man by Neil Young is the same chord progression as the verse of Train by Grandpa's Army. Which is interesting. But and then Goldman and Will wrote the rest. But it was fun.
I mean, Train's good. That's like classic. It's a classic answer. I want to be like, sort of. That's like when we play shows, people are like, play Train, and so you'd always have to play like maybe twice.
And originally, I didn't really have much to do. Golden brought over like a keyboard, and then I had this Fisher-Price turntable. So I just kind of mucked about with those. And then eventually, probably when we moved everything to my place, we realized the turntable was just useless because it wasn't even a real turntable. And then I started playing the keyboard.
Over there on keyboards, we got Alex. That's a good idea.
Alex is cool. We used to jam in Alex's basement, and that was good times. And he was the piano player, or the organ player. And man, that guy was focused when he played. Like, he would just be like nothing else mattered but his piano playing. Do you remember that? Like, stage was cool, but like band practice, he'd be like flawless. That guy was like wow. We were all like, Goofy on ADHD. That guy was like playing that shit like crazy. That sucks.
Comedic riffs going on, always random Backstreet Boy riffs prior to the song. It was hilarious. Yeah. It added enjoyment to the shows, I guess, for me. So, I was kind of nervous all the time. Well, not necessarily nervous. Well, I guess you could say I was nervous, but then, just having that random interlude of comedy was just kind of funny and, it lightened the mood at the time.
He was the manager of the band, really. He got us a lot of our shows, handled the finances. It was sort of, the finances were held so that you sort of had to be around him if you ever wanted to get a cut of the pie, kind of, because we were a high school band and we didn't make we made a few bucks at a time, but if we made some money and you were there when you made the money, then you'd go for pizza and you got to enjoy the spoils of playing the show.
Gramps at Amory was a Grandpa's Army poster that I guess was spelled. It was at the Albert. We did a different sheet of paper for each letter of Grandpa's Army, and it was my job to put it up. And I just wasn't paying attention, I guess, and I put the GRE and the P, and then the A apostrophe S, right? I put it up upside down, so it was S comma A, I guess. So it was like Gramps comma A, or like Gramps Amory. And then the M and the RY or whatever was mixed up too. So Gramps to Amory, and it's just kind of an ongoing joke.
Sam, I guess, had a band with Doug, and he found that Johnny and I guess, had instruments and stuff, so we just, asked us to jam with him or something, so we started out that way.
Way in the back on the skins, we have Goldie the Hammer Muller.
Golden just makes me smile. I can't look at that guy and not grin. That's all I have to say about Goldwyn.
We never played a show without Goldwyn, I don't think. And I mean, I don't think we could have because he was like just this, I don't know, anchor to the band, I think, in a lot of ways.
Golden was like dedicated. He was the most dedicated of everyone. You'd always hear and eventually he'd get frustrated with us at the band during practice and whatnot, and then just kind of break out his own little drum skills practice.
The guy behind the drums, he wrote a lot of the songs, so he was pretty integral to the band. He was one of the few core members who was in the band from the start.
Quiet unless you knew him. I would watch Goldwyn and other people would try and talk to him. You'd just be like, yeah, well. But if you had him at band practice, he was loud. He'd be like, okay, guys, seriously, let's go, and whatnot. And a talented musician, mother of God. That boy would write. He would write pieces of music and weird things that we would add to songs that I'm sure none of us would have ever come up with.
Yeah, Goldwyn is funny. I think the best thing about Goldwyn is just the burning, searing remarks that he would sometimes just shoot out of the blue. Totally knock someone down.
Oh geez, I don't know, probably that show at the Albert, our first show with Whole Lot of Milka. It was unfortunate because it was a big show and we were pretty horrible. And I mean we played some bad shows. We played badly at the Lyric. We played bad shows towards the beginning, towards the end. And some mediocre shows in the middle.
And I remember playing at the Royal Albert, which was the most terrible show of my life.
Why?
Because there were people yelling for Motorhead and booing us, and the act left a little bit to be desired. I won't say that we were at that point really 100% where we ought to have been at that time.
Sam and Doug, maybe Alex, were jamming or something, had a blues thing going on or something crazy like that. And I believe the name was already established as well. I believe that was Doug came up with it or something. I believe. I could be wrong. That's what I remember. So yeah, when we were at cross country, and I guess Sam and Alex asked Goldwyn and I if we would be interested in jamming. I believe that's how it went.
Over here on lead vocals, we got Johnny.
Always different. You never knew what the hell Johnny was going to do in any either show or practice. Whether it was practice or not, Johnny would pull something out that would be quite random and hilarious.
He was if you're going to have a front man in a band, it's got to be someone like that.
Yeah, and he was pretty, I don't know, he was good in the band when he was into it. Sometimes he'd get depressed or something and he'd at shows he wouldn't want to play or something. That was kind of bad. And then other times he'd be all happy-go-lucky. So I don't know. But he was pretty good. He was a good guy to have around.
ADD. That's all I think of. He was all over the place.
Me, Johnny, and Goldwyn were actually the only members who never missed a show. Johnny was always there. We couldn't have done it without him, obviously, because he's the front man. But he, at first, I was kind of worried about Johnny because he was really crazy. I mean, the thing about everyone says about Johnny, he's really spastic and sort of hyperactive and ADD or whatever, and he was so much fun to hang out with. But when he got on stage in the early shows, he was really stiff, really nervous. I mean, we were all nervous, but Johnny was a little bit more so, I think, because he was the focal point.
Playing all this first song, it's pretty straightforward, and everyone knows it.
And later on, as it progressed, he just got more and more used to being on stage.
I got myself a hula hoop, but I don't know how it should. My hips are moving the way they should, so I look like a fool and I come for a ride. Hey, that goes up, bebop ball, baby, that will be more fun and interesting. Let's all go to Taco Bell and get us some combo one.
Brilliant lyrics to Tryhawk.
Tryhawk.
What is a bebop ball?
Bebop ball, from what I can remember those things, it's like two rubber balls between a disc, and you stand on it, and you jump. I think that's a bebop ball.
So a pogo ball.
Yeah, but I don't think it worked in that sentence. I think bebop ball was way cooler. And I think it took me, what were the words to that song? Got myself a hula hoop. Hop, right, misspelled that. Got myself a hula hop. Don't know how it's used. My hips don't move like the way they should, so I look like a fool and a complete moron. And I believe that took 3 hours to write. I went upstairs to my dining room table, and I sat there for hours. And that's all oh, and then don't forget let's go get ourselves a combo one at Taco Bell.
I mean, primarily am still a pianist, and I played trombone in the high school band, and so we needed some wind players for the band, and so that I became a trombonist in the band.
Mark on trombone.
Talented, like he's a really good piano player, and he was good at his horn. He played trombone. So to him, like, you know, the songs were pretty simple as far as like horn lines went, and it wasn't his, you know, sort of his cup of tea, I guess. And so he didn't really want to. A lot of the times he didn't want to be there and stuff. You know, and, it just seemed like it wasn't as much fun to him as it was to a lot of the other guys in the band. You know.
Oh, Mark, I don't know. I wish he would have come out more. Like, I guess maybe he thought it was like too goofy or something to spend his time on. But I mean, yeah, he's a pretty sweet piano player and everything. I mean, he was good at trombone. It was good when he came out. It kind of pissed me off that he didn't ever come out. Maybe he should have just quit, but I don't know. Yeah.
Like, that guy was an awesome trombone player. He was like so good at music compared to the Blue Restaurants in water. But he didn't really, it wasn't really his thing. He didn't really show up very often to shows. When he did, it was exceptional. Like, he really added a lot, especially because Morgan, I mean, despite being really into it, Morgan was not at the level, anywhere near the level Mark was. So you had the two trombones together. Mark would just bring everything way up. And when he did show up, it was great. It's too bad he didn't show up more, but I mean, again, it obviously wasn't it was just more of a side thing for him to do every once in a while when he felt like it. And that was fine. I mean, we wanted to take him, I guess, however we could. And it worked. So.
The trombone player who was hardly ever there. But when he was there, better than Morgan. Much better than Morgan.
Alex, Sam, Goldwyn, Johnny, Doug, and Mark. And then I was next.
Here we got Morgan Jones on trombone.
I think Morgan's going to be a deadbeat someday, if he's not already. Probably.
Morgan, yeah. He wasn't as talented as Mark at trombone. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Like, you ask him, he'll be the first one to say it. I'm not, like, giving away any Grandpa's Army secrets by saying that. But, you know, he legitimately enjoyed it, right? He came out, he skanked as hard as anyone else. And he was kind of like the comic relief of the band. I guess he got made fun of probably more than anyone else. But
Morgan. Morgasm. Morgay. 1,000 names for Morgan. We used to go to his house at lunchtime. He always whined. Fuck, man, that guy was a bitch. Like, we'd go and have lunch at his house, and, like, if I did one thing, if I pooped wrong or something, like, I was gonna get, like, punched in the face. That guy whined, man. That guy loved to complain. Like, he loved to complain. Like, if you were, like, talking in his car while he was driving, he'd be like, "Shut up, guys, I'm trying to drive. It has to be safe."
Morgan was an alright guy. He was pretty nice, for the most part. He was well-meaning. I think he was another one of, like, the more underappreciated members of the band. Like, he got made fun of a lot and stuff like that. Kind of like me, except that he was already a member of that clique. He was just the butt of everyone's jokes. He was like a lecherous kind of guy who was always all like, "Come on, baby, come on, I'm Morgan. Look at me, I'm pretty. I got money. Come on." And at least that's how the girl I was talking to described it.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. I'm like, really? I never saw that side of him. He always seemed kind of putsy.
Have you picked up your trombone since Grandpa's Army?
I honestly can't find it. Like, it's at someone's house. I don't know whose. I've heard it's been everything used from a beer bong to, like, someone's friends smoked up out of it. Like, I literally cannot find my trombone.
Fucking Morgan. I don't even know why he brought it over. I really don't. But yeah, it's been in my closet for like, what, 3 years or something?
And someone asked me to play sax. So I said, oh, okay. And that was in grade 11. And from then on, I was a member of the band.
Got William. William over here on alto sax.
Yeah, Will's lyrics were lame. Will was lame. That soprano saxophone. Okay. This is a soprano sax. This is the instrument of choice for one William Walker. Here's my impression of Will Walker on this fucking thing. Look at this thing. I feel like I'm gonna break it. And then big giant pink pants. Okay, now check this out. Ready? Lame.
Will was worth it just for his lyrics. Like, the Bible reading during songs was too funny.
And Cain said unto the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face I be hidden. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass, that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold.
And then, like, some of his costumes, like the infamous Killbot 3000, was some of the most hilarious things ever.
He was good when he was in the band. I guess he quit partway through. I don't know. I guess I can see that, but it was a bit annoying that he quit. But he wrote like half of our songs and stuff, and it was really good to have him in the band. Like, we're lucky to have him.
He obviously contributed. His obvious contribution is in the songwriting. You know, he wrote Honey, he wrote Nod, which are two of our best songs. He wrote the lyrics for Train. He wrote the lyrics for pretty much everything. And I think he wrote Bugs too. He wrote the lyrics, but he wrote the music, I think, for Ugly Children. And yeah, he was awesome. I don't think the band would have really gone anywhere if Will hadn't joined, because, I mean, he was the first horn member after Mark, who was sort of a no-show a lot of the time, who actually knew how to play his instruments as well. Yeah, Will contributed a lot to the songwriting. And he also contributed a lot to the stage act. And that was the key to Grandpa's Army, is that a lot of the time we were unrehearsed, we couldn't play well, we were out of tune or whatever, but we put on a crazy show. And Will, you know, he'd have these pink parachute pants, or he'd be wearing crazy costumes, like pots on his head or whatever. And he would dance around and just sort of get the crowd interested. He's like this really tall guy wearing this crazy outfit, going insane on stage. And that in turn got Johnny moving. It got me moving around. It got all of us sort of more into the performance aspect of it, because Will was just like, I think that's just how he is. He's just like sort of his personality is really out there.
Nam stroke cab, nam stroke cab, nam stroke cab, nam stroke cab.
The lyrics are, they're just kind of a filler, you know. You can't write a song without lyrics. You have to stick something in there. Johnny knows that all too well. His lyrical feats are well documented in past performances.
When I came into the band, it actually had already been formed, and they'd been together for a while and practicing for a bit. But they had a show that was at Kaylee's dad, a friend of the band's. He owned a clothing store, and they were having a sale, and they wanted Grandpa's Army to play the sale. It was like an outdoor tent sale sort of thing. But one of the main themes of Grandpa's Army is that you'll never get all the horns at once. So they were short horns, and I played saxophone for a while, so they asked me if I could fill in for the show. And then after that, like I said, it wasn't an uncommon thing to have not enough horns. So they just asked me to stay, and I did. That's how I joined.
James Riquima playing the horn of choice.
He was good at saxophone. Like, sometimes our horns were pretty weak, like as a group. But he he was generally one of the better ones. So it was good that he was there, you know, and that somebody actually played like the right thing all the time. Important, I guess.
Requima?
Yeah.
Uppity. He always had this like air of being like 40. It's like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders like every day. At least that's how it seemed. He was always very determined and very serious.
James was a saxophone player. He maybe took it too seriously. He was always trying to play things correctly, and that was a long time ago. It wasn't yeah.
James Requima, big thumbs, fat thumbs, fat thumbs Requima. Maybe I'm the only one who noticed that. He had massive thumbs. Like his nail would be like twice mine. Like huge fucking thing. Like his hands. Is that like a Portuguese thing? Like what was that guy? Italian Portuguese? I don't know.
Yeah, I came into the practice space and Doug was there, and I guess I kind of started learning bass lines off him eventually, and then it kind of just formulated from there.
Matthew Zacharias playing little bass.
That's a good guy. He's my cousin. I mean, I got him into the band. When Doug left, we needed a bass player, and Doug was sort of one of the founding members with me. So we wanted to, we obviously wanted to keep the band going because we had sort of grown into this bigger unit, and we wanted to make sure we had a bass player, obviously, because we needed. Doug was gone. We weren't just going to end it. So I knew Matt was a good guitarist. He plays this crazy jazz guitar, and he's really talented. So I thought, you know, maybe if we give him a bass, he can do the same thing and play with us. So he joined, and yeah, he did. I mean, he's a really talented guy. He knew what he was doing in the sense that he took songs that were pretty basic and he added another dimension to them.
Yeah, he was always really quiet. Like, but he was really good musically. Like, he was definitely. We were lucky to have him in the band because he was. He had a lot of stability that we really needed. And, yeah, it was always good because you could always count on him to play his parts right and shit, which is something that wasn't a given at all in Grandpa's Army.
Matt came in when Doug left to play bass, and he's a phenomenal jazz guitarist. Let me tell you what, that guy is absolutely incredible. Good bass player too, flawless bass player. Do 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 do. You know, that kind of shit. Like incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible.
What do you remember about like joining the band? What was how did you get in?
I don't remember how I started in this band.
No?
Do you guys remember?
Well, like, do you remember anything about how you became like?
I remember coming to practices.
We got Erica over here. She's plays a little trumpet for you.
I've known Erica since I was like in grade 1 or something. I grew up in the same neighborhood as her, and yeah, it was really cool when she joined the band because I mean, we didn't have a trumpet, which is weird. It just seems like we had all these horns, but there wasn't a trumpet player yet.
Eric getting drunk. I think the couple times I interviewed Eric was always drunk. It was hilarious because you know I wasn't told till later, and sometimes I'd be like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Well, I mean, they went out. A lot of jokes ensued.
Let me tell you, I tell you about a girl with yellow hair and looks that good too. Let me tell you, I tell you about a boy with stained yellow teeth and a stench that could too. You followed her around every day and stalked her every night. You waited for her outside her bedroom window until she turned out the light.
You know, a trumpet and a bass, maybe there's something, I don't know, Sam. Sometimes when the mood is right, things happen.
didn't they date for like a month or something? Or maybe they just had sex. Really gross, like beer-infested sex.
Everywhere. That's what I remember about this band. I would get my parents' station wagon, pick all of your sorry asses up, drive you to the show with all the equipment, and drive you home after. And basically sit there by myself for an entire night waiting for our stupid band to play. Aww. But it was fun. But that's why I quit, basically. Just tired of driving everyone home. And I don't really like ska.
You want a different and original? Meet Erica.
I'm a yes.
No, you're not.
I'm a yes. I agree with Jake. You definitely should keep doing what you're doing, and you do it quite well.
Oh, I would have crapped my pants if you guys gave me a gold ticket.
Back and forth, the horns were swaying, while in the crowd all the kids were saying, everybody come on.
I was new to town, and I was trying to find some people to meet and kind of similar interests, and I contacted members of local bands, and at the time there was Whole Lotta Milka and the Racketeers and Grab's Army. And Grab's Army came up on the stage, and I'm like, wow, you know, these guys have good sound. It's fun, it's upbeat, the crowd seems to like them. And that's kind of where I met some of the members, such as Sam and Alex. It became known that I could play saxophone. And Grab's Army had a couple of floating members who would be in and out every once in a while, and I just started coming to practices, and then one day they were like, okay, so you're playing tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, all right then.
Jamie.
I guess there was a lot of contempt in the grand scheme of things in the band over Jamie. I never really disliked him very much, though, regardless of that, to be honest.
He's just one of the most annoying people I've ever met. Like, frankly, it's just like, you want to be nice to the guy, but you want to be like, listen, the sound of your voice aggravates me. He always wanted to pretend like I think he was in, like, the world's greatest band, and, like, you would just be like, no, relax. Like, and he was, like, super hardcore, and just, I don't know, he was unique.
When Jamie joined the band, that was when the band jumped the shark. It's all downhill from there.
He sort of like lived and breathed ska. He was like the ska guy. It's like, hey guys, yeah, I'm from Montreal, and I used to be in ska bands and blah 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 blah. And we were always short on horns, so some people thought, hey, why don't we get another horn player in the band, right? He played the same instrument as me, and so like I don't know if there was tension there because of that or something, some kind of like tenor rivalry or anything. I don't think so, but.
I'm not sure whether it's good or bad to have him in the band, because he was so enthusiastic that was good. Like, it was at a time when a lot of people really weren't that enthusiastic, but I'm not sure. Like, maybe just having him there, he annoyed a lot of the people, and like that probably didn't help with like them wanting to be in the band, you know. And I did like his like enthusiasm. Like, it was, you know, at least he was into it. But a lot of people weren't, and so it was like, okay, well, at least he wants to do it, you know.
Jamie Cote, I believe, was the beginning of the end for the band. When he came in, I think we all started hating each other because of Cote. Where that guy said he was like 19 or something. He was from Montreal, right? Turned out to be like what 27 or something, like fucked up, and he was like still in high school. He was like supposed to be this like big ska head who like was friends with the Plant Smashers and all this other garbage, and it's like, no, none of it worked out.
At practice, he'd always complain about his reeds being broken or something, which became like this running joke with us. And it's not really fair because like I sucked at my instrument and a lot of other people did too, but at least don't like make up nonsense excuses, because like Will and James always had new reeds too. It's not like they were using these like disgusting old reeds the whole time. I hope they weren't. And I don't even know what a reed is.
Part of my experience with Grandpa's Army, it wasn't all good. I gotta say that a lot of the members of the band were friends since high school, and I felt like I was kind of like an outside ring of a clique that already existed. And while I got along really well with Sam, and for the most part, Goldwyn, I felt a lot of animosity or coldness from other members of the band on a regular basis. And I think it's mainly just because of the fact that I was not a member of their original clique, and I was a new person, and I'm a bit boisterous. I know for a fact that certain members of the band, such as James, for instance, just did not like me whatsoever. And that's fine, you know. But that made it difficult for me because I honestly really just wanted to fit in. And I felt a lot of times that I didn't really get that chance. Especially in the, for instance, the reunion show where I would have liked to play, and I mentioned that I would have liked to have played, but based on politics and past opinions of people, that didn't really work out.
He was really earnest, and he really, really wanted to be everyone's friend, and he really wanted to be in the band. I mean, he loved ska, and when he first joined, I think that even throughout his sort of tenure in the band, I was the only one who was really friends with him to the point where I'd hang out with him voluntarily outside of the band. I know a lot of people he wasn't their favorite guy because personality clashes or whatever. It is kind of disappointing that I know he feels sort of slighted by some of that stuff that happened in the past with everyone. I mean, but he is overbearing. He can be sometimes, and I think that didn't work with a lot of people. His vocals were awesome too. When he threw in backup vocals, it really helped because Dave usually just screamed, and Johnny being in key wasn't really Johnny's strong suit. So Jamie definitely was a good vocalist, and he did a lot of backups, and especially in some of the cover songs that worked well.
I don't think things would proceed in any case. The band was just so stagnant. Should have called them the... No, I don't have a joke.
I don't know, I remember wanting to quit early on. I guess there was all the drama with Jamie going on at the time. So I guess, I don't know, I just really lost interest in it after a while, I guess.
I was sort of sick of the arguments from during practices and stuff, and shows were getting a bit worse, and like the band was sort of starting to annoy the crowd almost purposely, which is like funny at first, but like a lot of shows are like that, sort of gets on everyone's nerves. So, I think everyone had enough.
It was really annoying, like to have to practice with like 10 people. We hadn't written any new songs for like forever or anything. I think we were all pretty tired of playing the same songs, and I don't know, we played all those shows like every week at the Broadway, and that sort of took some of the fun out of it, I think.
We decided to play the last show though, which is totally the, we wouldn't just fade away or whatever. That's not our style. So yeah, we played the last show and burnt like a double CD, greatest of A-sides and G-sides. Little pun on A-sides and B-sides. And yeah, it was awesome. We sold out of all the CDs, and we played like this awesome show, and I think people really liked it, signed autographs after. And, it was just, you got to go out in a blaze of glory like that, not just kind of fade away like Racketeers or some other bands like that,
Well, I don't know. It's we put on a couple of reunion shows, and they were pretty well received, I guess. Like it's awesome to have people in Winnipeg who like legitimately liked you. Do you know what I mean? We weren't like tremendously popular, but we did have like a core base of fans who'd come for our shows, and like people who came week after week to like a Broadway show. Like I don't know if that's pretty hardcore to see the same band every week, pretty much play the same set. But yeah, for them, they came out and they supported us again when we had reunion shows, so that was pretty cool, and it's fun to get back together and playing.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. That was fun. Like not many people can say they had that much fun as a high school band. Like most high school bands last a couple days, and then we fucking did everything. Man, like class act. Remember that stuff, man? That was great. Good show. Fantastic show.
My job is
burned to the ground. Later, I hate her. The elevator. You're messing me up. The pee in the elevator don't smell too good. The pee in the elevator don't smell like it should. Drinking all night, there's no turning back. No more. It's impossible to wait till the 19th floor. The elevator don't smell too good. There's pee in the elevator don't smell like it should. A little fluffy guy. I lost him on the elevator. I just left him there to die. That was just.
We butchered that one.
My drummer, or the drummer, is giving me the finger. That was bad.
He's got
Sorry.
pizza in his mouth.
I'm sorry. That was just really bad. You butchered them.